Radio.com app. Download it today and listen to us anytime, anywhere. We've got you covered, Las Vegas. Interviews, insights, and your input are all part of Sports Adrenaline. Here are your hosts, Tony Cordasco, John Castanino, Matt Gutierrez, and Haley Brooks on CBS Sports Radio, 1140 AM.
Good morning from Las Vegas. This is the Sports Adrenaline Show. The Vegas Golden Knights embarking on a 5-game road trip after an opening night loss on home ice to the Flyers. How about Eric Brandstrom last night? 2 goals. The Chicago Wolves victorious, including the game winner with 48 seconds in to OT. The Raiders get their first win of the season over Cleveland. Now they travel to L.A./Carson to meet the Chargers. They piped in loud music this week, the Chargers did, at StubHub Center in anticipation of a massive Raider crowd invading the Chargers' temporary home. UNLV will be meeting New Mexico today. 1 o'clock the kickoff, the matinee at Sam Boyd Stadium. It's the conference opener, and quarterback Armani Rogers is out for 6 weeks with a turf toe injury. Max Gillum gets the starting nod today. We have McGregor versus Khabib, UFC action tonight at T-Mobile, and Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the Bull Ring season coming down to the wire. Also some news about the Las Vegas Lights. Tony Cordasco, John Castanino, Matt Gutierrez, Haley Brooks on assignment. Sonia Schlobaum is here to engineer this show, and technical assistance by Scott Gulbranson. Brought to you by Michael Westra.
Technical assistance. He does a lot more than that, I'll tell you that.
Well, just right now.
At least today.
For the moment. We don't know how to encapsulate that. So Michael Westra, Allstate, 702-435-4211. And brought to you by The Pint on Charleston and Wallapai. Good morning, everyone.
Hey.
What's up, Tony?
We're live on YouTube, Sports Adrenaline LV. We're live on Facebook, Sports Adrenaline LV. I'm controlling it today, and I have to
He's the controller.
keep up with you two schmucks
Isn't
today.
that the, isn't it?
It's going to be really
that's
difficult.
the Drake song, the controller.
That is the name of the song.
You
got
over
it.
there, you're closer. I got enough to do.
I got six
computers
things
in my
front of me.
hand.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start off. Oh, well, what is this new banner? If you're watching us live on Facebook, one of the fanboys dropped off a banner here, I think.
This signifies the greatest inaugural season of all time, Tony. That's what that is.
And what
Western Conference champions. I like that.
Where'd you get that from?
That was a
How did
giveaway
it
at
show?
T-Mobile the other night.
So they gave that away. I think the media even got those, right?
Well, the media brought it in today, so I would say yes.
We did get one, and I was surprised by it. But they're good with the media.
Yeah, they give you presents, and you keep coming back and
you
writing
know
good
what?
stuff.
No cheering. You wouldn't know, Tony, because you don't have access to the
Yeah,
best
that's
box,
right.
all right.
Thank you.
So there you go.
Thank you.
There you go.
Of course. Tonight, VGK opens a 5-game road swing in Minneapolis against the Wild. The Golden Knights come off of the loss at home to the Flyers Thursday night, 5-2. Jonathan Marchessault starts off the scoring, right, for VGK. Then Philly goes on a tear, 5 straight. So we have to try to figure out, number one, what went wrong. And then Marc-Andre Fleury allowing 5 goals, 16 shots. The defense looks soft for the Golden Knights. And I saw the video that you posted, John, and Lafleur was so distraught.
Yeah, he was. He was really, frustrated is obviously the key word. Parsed his words. I asked him the first question about being pulled that early from that game, and he wasn't happy about it. But Gerard Gallant was very clear during the press conference. He said there's no question that this was on the team, and there really is no reason to keep him. But the highlight of the game really was how Malcolm Subban played. Not to jump ahead here, but
I don't know. He didn't face a whole lot at that point. They were up 5-0, and
the highlight was
they
raising
stopped
the banners.
pressing at that point. They stopped pressing once it was 5-1 midway through the second period. So Subban didn't face the same kind of onslaught that Fleury did. The defense really hung Fleury out to dry throughout the course of the game. I mean, he was put in bad positions all night long.
Well, wait a minute. Isn't this essentially the same defense as last year that fell apart in the Washington series?
I'm pretty confident that Merrill and Holden weren't a line pair or weren't a defensive pair last year.
Okay, yeah, but it's pretty much they paid them a
5
lot more
goals,
money to play better, and they didn't play better.
On them. 3 of the 5 goals were on those two guys. They did not play well at all. It's the first game. Hopefully that gets better, but those two guys were really bad on the ice. Some really bad turnovers. A lot of odd man rushes. Guys were just
a ton.
Too many Flyers were behind the entire Golden Knights team. heading to the net by themselves way too often.
And how many times, guys, are the Golden Knights going to get beaten now on that backdoor play? I mean, it just seems to be it looks like a repeat. When Simmons scored that one goal, I'm like, this is a repeat of everything we saw when they were exposed by Washington in the Stanley Cup final.
That's good hockey right there. That's what you do as an offense is move the puck and get them backdoor.
Yeah,
that happens
the same
to every
exact play.
team.
Well, come on, man. They're getting beat on that backdoor way too many times.
They lost in the Stanley Cup final last year. It's not like this team won 20 games and was just boat raced all season long. Teams get beat on that play all over the NHL. They didn't play well. It's not as though they came out and played a great game and lost on that backdoor play in overtime. They just didn't play a good hockey game from about midpoint in the first period on. It was just bad hockey.
I thought it was a really good wake-up call. And granted, it's game one. 1 out of 82. I get it. But if they had any sort of saunter or swagger about coming in and being, in the Stanley Cup final and going 6-1 in the preseason, not that you'd have any swag after going 6-1, but you get used to winning that many games, right? So Philadelphia looked great. They were very crisp with the puck. They moved it very well. They took advantage of the Golden Knights, especially, again, John Merrill. Just what a brutal game from that guy.
Yeah.
There's no way that he's in the lineup tonight.
Bischoff or Hunt, I would assume, is going to get a call for this game.
And I think Gerard Gallant's going to dink around with the dink. He's going to mix up the defense until he finds something that works.
He did it last year. And
we know Theodore and England are going to be paired together, but I think outside of that.
that overpaid guy who hit the crossbar?
That overpaid guy, okay.
Crossbars in this team, man. My God. This team loves to hit the cross. If the goal was to hit the crossbar, the Knights would be undefeated.
Well, that was an important part of the game, right? Because they could have went up 2-0 when he hit it. And otherwise, then after that, it was a 5-0 run by the Flyers.
Yeah.
And so that was an important play, in that game. But, as Gerard Gallant had said, he said that this team was really flat on their feet. And they really did not do a good job. And I think Pacioretty said also, that they got caught on their heels. And they got away from relying on team speed, right?
Yeah, like I said, there were too many times when the defense was just caught standing, and the Flyers were behind everybody. So many times you'd see defense up near the blue line in their own zone, and 2 or 3 Flyers streaking by them. They weren't skating. You hear that term a lot, not skating. That's basically what happened. They got caught flat-footed. I honestly, I hate to put it on some outside distraction, but that pregame left a little to be desired, I think. Usually their pregame ceremonies get everybody up. The crowd gets up. The players get up. It fell flat.
It's just too much. It's just too much.
Well, the banners were already out. Yep. They didn't do like an unveiling or anything like that. They were
that
just
was kind
out.
of strange. What was that all about?
I don't know.
They just left them hanging, and I kept following John. I saw all of your tweets, and I'm like, what are they going to do with those banners?
And then the pregame ceremony was essentially just a 10-minute video, pre-recorded, kind of recapping the season, and then it would just kind of shine a light on the banner. There was no unveiling, no introduction, no hey, Western Conference champions, none of that. It was I thought felt flat. It fell flat on everybody.
It was
and
odd.
it was very different from what we're used to for a pregame ceremony in this team.
And the organist was there, but I didn't hear. I thought the organ was not there. I thought they got rid of it because I didn't hear it.
I tweeted about it. I think it was in the third period. I said the
organist is the highlight of the game.
Okay, then that's right. Yeah.
That's how bad the game was.
That keyboard player was just sitting.
Is that the highlight of the game?
They forgot. Oh my God, we have an organ. We forgot.
Hey guys, let's go to some sound here. So we got some reaction in the locker room after the game. Really, we obviously want to focus on tonight's game, maybe a little bit more. But Max Pacioretty making his regular season debut. So it starts with Max talking about what happened, and he hits the nail on the head here. And then it goes from Max to Belmar to Jonathan Marchessault talking about the Minnesota Wild, a team that went 3-0 against the Golden Knights last year.
We had a great start, great mindset coming out. It seemed as if we couldn't, string together a couple plays in order to make something happen, a couple posts, and then fell back on our heels. And that's not our game. The second period, we played on our heels, got caught in between. A couple times there. Our team is built off speed. If someone makes a mistake, we back them up because of our speed, and we got away from that. And good news is we know what went wrong, and we're looking to fix it for next game.
Last question: 5 games, just talk about the keys, obviously, to bounce back really quickly from this one.
Yeah, in this business, you got to have a short memory, and that's exactly what's nice about going on the road now and playing in 2 days is we get to forget about this one. That's a big reason why this team has success. They got the short memory from the top to the bottom. As long as everyone has the right mindset and is pulling their weight and worries about the process, we'll win a lot of games.
Yeah, I mean the most important part is just the first 5. It's a team that comes extremely hard out of the gate. So if we play anything like tonight, we will be in trouble. The good news is like we know what we can do. We didn't execute tonight, but they're a tough team to play against, especially at home. So we're gonna have to be ready for it.
Yeah, I mean we got to be ready. They have a great team. They're successful for so many years. They have great players, and definitely need to step it up because tonight our effort was really not good enough.
So there you go. Bellemare and Marcia Show both saying that it wasn't good enough, right? And clearly, and they know, it's a good way. Turn the page. So Marcia Show said, hey, he's a midnight guy, so it's going to seep in and kind of get into his pores until midnight. Then he turns the page. Same with Bellemare. So they all have the same approach. And then again, as we talked about at the top of the show, Marc-Andre Fleury was pretty upset. So,
yeah. And we're going to have a lot more Knights coverage later on. I think one way to beat the Golden Knights, too, is not to allow rebounds. And I thought Philly did an exceptional job. No second chance opportunities.
Well, they had a handful, but they just couldn't get them through. I mean, there were opportunities there, but some good defense, some great goaltending, and they just couldn't get them through.
Coming up on the Sports Adrenaline Las Vegas radio show, Gabe McCoy will be coming our way next. He's the UNLV linebacker. He's the captain. We'll talk about today's game and the season thus far. Stay tuned. Much more on the way on Sports Adrenaline on CBS Sports Radio, 1140 a.m.
Your input is always welcome at 702-889-5978. You're listening to Sports Adrenaline with Tony Cordasco, John Castanino, Matt Gutierrez, and Haley Brooks.
Gabe McCoy, UNLV junior, or weakside linebacker, now joins us on the Sports Adrenaline show right here on CBS Sports Radio, 1140 a.m. And Gabe, UNLV comes off of the bye week, right, after that disappointing loss at Arkansas State. What was accomplished during the week off, and is the team craving right now to get back on the field to get rid of the effects of that loss?
Sure. Well, first of all, we just had to take that loss and just use it as motivation, because we're not trying to lose the games here. The whole summer we set our mind to not lose any games at all. So I think we just felt like this week and last week we just used these past few practices to move forward and get back in the game shape. And we're hungry. We're hungry to play. The next game we're ready to go against New Mexico.
Is it a different approach or like a new season coming off of that bye week now as you head into conference play?
Yeah, we're going into the new season. We said we 0-0 again, even though we're not. We're 2-2, but we're going back 0-0. It's conference, We still got a chance to do all our goals. Still can go to Mountain West Championship. We still can go to a bowl game. Everything is still in front of us, so we're ready to go.
Yeah, and that magic number now is at 4 to get into a bowl game, so you have your sights set on that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's at 4, but we still setting higher. We're still setting higher.
Gabe McCoy, you lead the Mountain West Conference in tackles for loss with 7.5. Explain your position as the weak side linebacker, what you do to the listeners who might not understand, because you move around now within this new defensive scheme.
A lot of time I'm towards the boundary, which is like the short side of the field, but right now I'm fluctuating from weak side backer to down to DN. So most of the time I'm coming off the edge, blitzing off the edge, or just chasing plays down from the backside. Or when I'm at linebacker, I'm basically dropping in the coverage, reading out the tackles, and basically reading off of our safeties and other linebackers as well.
So within Tim Skipper's scheme, this is one that enables like the linebackers more freedom, always coming downhill.
Yeah, a lot more freedom. That's the first thing we noticed when he came. We noticed that we were a lot more free and be able to make plays in the backfield a lot more this year.
So it was a big honor. We're speaking to Gabe McCoy, UNLV's linebacker at the will position. Big honor to be named one of the 4 captains on this team this season. Do you see yourself now as a junior, as a leader?
Yeah, to me, that was one of my greatest compliments. Being a leader and everything, that's always something I always wanted to do. And I feel like I never really was able to do that because I was always shy and kind of like I led by example most of the time. But now I'm being more vocal, and I feel like that's helping me out in my game and everything, and it's helping this team out, because I'm able to step up and do the things I need to do for this team.
Gabe, saw something on Twitter. It said, if you don't respect Armani Rogers, you don't know a thing about football, right? After Rogers struggled throwing the football at Arkansas State. He's injured. He's out now. But why did you feel as though you had to defend him?
I just felt like it was something to do because I felt like a lot of people were blaming him for our loss, and I really don't think it was the case. Even everybody messes up. Even I missed a play, I missed a tackle, and they ended up scoring off of that, and now that led them to the winning drive of the game. So everybody messes up. It wasn't just on him. He's a great quarterback, and to me, that was that's the toughest game I've ever seen him play. He was getting hit all day, and he was just getting up every single time. So it just led me to have more respect for him, and I'm proud for him to be my quarterback.
Yeah. Did you know at what point of the game he got hurt?
No, I didn't know because he wasn't showing it. He was getting up every time. Every time he was getting knocked down, he was getting up. He showed mental toughness, and he kept leading. He kept doing his thing.
What was it like playing in those conditions?
To me, it was fun. I'm not gonna lie, it was fun. I like those kind of games, and it was raining, and it felt like I was playing backyard football again. So, but it was fun. It was I like when it's on us. It gives more pressure on the D, and that's what we got to do. Defense wins championships, and that's our job.
You did a great job in that game, but yeah, you missed that one tackle, and then there was really nothing else behind you, and so that was a tough play at a critical point in the game. When you went back to evaluate the film, what did you see?
I left my feet. I tried to dive instead of just running my feet and holding on and grabbing onto the guy. I just dove at him instead of running my feet and really tackling him. And that's something I'm working on this week, and that's something I've been implementing in practice all week, and so I'm getting better at that.
Did Coach Skipper add more plays, more schemes, more stunts and blitzes now as you head into conference season with the week off?
No, I think we're pretty much doing the same thing. It's just basically, it's not really adding more. It's just tuning up the things we already have. Making sure we're able to do the things effectively and efficient.
Gabe McCoy is our guest, and you face every day in practice the offense. And so tell us about Max Gillum. You see him in practice every day. What are his strengths, and what is his confidence level like right now?
He's a very confident guy. You know, I remember in the spring and everything, we always talk crap to him, like, oh, we're going to get a pick from you today. And he always just tussle back, you know, and that's something I like to see, you know, because he got a lot of confidence, and he's able to, you know, come back with a joke with us, you know. I think he's going to be able to do a good job this week for us, and you know, he got a strong arm, he can run, he can do all those things, just like Armani, and we believe in him, and he's a very passionate guy.
Gabe McCoy is our guest. So now you're a third through the season. What is your assessment so far of this defense?
Man, we can do it all. I noticed when we played USC, I just told myself we can win games, and we can win games through this defense. And you know, I already looked at now. Last year we gave up almost 40 points a game, and already this year we only given up 28, which isn't good as good, but it's better than last year. I just noticed that we're making a big change, and it's all for the good, and I believe we really be able to impact this team the way we need to.
Yeah. Do you see signs of improvement?
Yes, a lot of improvement, especially with the pressure, getting more sacks. You know, this year we'll be able to get more pressure on the quarterback, and we'll be able to, even our DBs, Jericho and Jaquez, they've been locking up. They've been doing their thing on the edges, you know. And us down on the line, like my man Jameer and my man Roger, you know, we just can get after the quarterback.
Yeah, they've been doing a great job. 11 sacks already this season, 11 all of last season. So definitely the pressure has increased.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's one of the things we really wanted to hone in on in the summer was get to the quarterback, and I told myself I got to get some in there too.
Do you like playing defensive end more in a flexed sort of way?
Yeah, I like. That's why I'm comfortable with that in high school. So you know, I love linebacker as well, but you know, coming off the edge, just something about coming off the edge, you know, and be able to get to the quarterback, and it's excitement, you know.
Gabe McCoy is our guest. Tell us about your family growing up. 3 brothers, 3 sisters. You had to fight for food and for TVs, I'm sure, and for the video games. What was it like growing up in Antioch, California, Pittsburgh High School? Yeah, Pittsburgh, California, and in a big family.
Yeah, it was, you know, that city of Pittsburgh has taught me a lot. You know, that's why every time I get a chance to go home, I always do. And growing up there, I've learned a lot. Especially my coaches, all the mentors have been there. My mentor, AJ Halafi, he's got me right. And my parents did a great job raising me, you know, all the kids that they have in our family. And I just felt like I'm the oldest, so I always had to set the example. So me being the oldest, I always had to make sure I was doing everything right. And I feel like that was one of the biggest things growing up. I always had to do everything right, and I feel like that's carried on here, you know, as well.
It helped you to mature a lot quicker?
Yes, sir, a lot quicker, and to be able to want to put on for my family. You know?
Yeah, that's great. So you started as a defensive lineman, and you moved to linebacker, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
My first year I was playing. I actually got recruited as a DN, and then moved to linebacker my redshirt freshman year.
Yeah. This is a more attacking defense, and so the coach just tells you, just go, run after the QB. What is it like as far as what they're instructing you to do, you know, comparatively speaking to in the past?
I think we're just less hesitant, you know, and it's just more of a aggressive, you know. We're just not less hesitant. Like last year, we tried to read too much and just get too much into our assignment instead of just really playing fast and playing downhill. And I feel like this year it's been installed to us through our head. Just go, be able to play fast, trigger, just keep going, trigger. Even if you miss, you just got to trigger. You just got to take some chances, and you got to just play hard, play fast the whole time.
It was an early bye week. Did you feel as though it was needed at that point?
Yeah, I feel like it was good. I like this time of bye weeks because after we get out of non-conference, then we get to be able to come into conference and have a new mindset and everybody gets back, you know, from their little knickknacks and their little injuries. But I feel like it's good for our mentality too as well to get back into conference mode.
Last year, great game against New Mexico, and the Rebels have won. They won 3 of their last 4 in conference play last season. Do you get a sense now that you are understanding like some of your opponent's tendencies, like New Mexico? Kind of, you've seen them already, and you kind of know what they can and can't do.
Yeah, that comes a lot with film and playing them through past years. You know, being able to watch them and just be able to hone in on what they're able to do for the week. And I think that's a good thing I've been really focusing on, watching more film and being more developed in there and seeing plays on the field.
It's amazing, you know, that this program just does not win, and you're about to turn the corner, hopefully, right? Because the Rebels can go 3-0 at home for the first time since 2000. So that's a big accomplishment, right? And playing at home, you get a sense that you're home and you play with a lot of confidence.
That's something we pride ourselves on. Really want to be able to do that for not only for us but for this community and for this school. And that us winning games that's something that's a mentality now and something that we want to do from years to come. Not just this year, but we want to change the culture. That's our biggest thing for this year. That's my biggest promise to this school, is being able to be a big factor and be able to change the culture at the school.
Change the culture for sure. And then I saw one good, really good, outstanding blocker on that offensive line for New Mexico, Aaron Jenkins, the right guard. He doesn't give up very many sacks. He's very solid. What else did you see from their offensive line?
They play pretty physical, play really downhill, and they stick on their blocks. You know, they're not letting off or anything. They fire off the ball really well.
Gabe, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Gabe McCoy has been our guest. Stay tuned. Much more on the way on the Sports Adrenaline Las Vegas show right here on CBS Sports Radio, 1140 a.m.
Drink, dine, and play at the Pint during the pro football season. Join us all day Sunday plus Monday and Thursday nights as we serve up the best specials on the west side. $2 all-beef hot dogs, $3 beers from locally made Bad Beat Brewing, and all games played on our big screens. Our carefully crafted menu and loose slots create a locals atmosphere you'll love, plus awesome parties during every Vegas hockey.
Of the NLDS, tomorrow at 4 on CBS Sports Radio, 1140.
The only way to take sports adrenaline with you is the radio.com app. Download it today and search CBS Sports Radio 1140 in Las Vegas and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
And welcome back to the show. There's some guy on Twitter. His name is Doug, Hockey Guy. And I really have to give him props on the air. I'm a Golden Knights season ticket holder, and I don't wear costumes, paint my face, dress up my dogs, run a fake fan page, don't always stay till the last second. And to which I said, you're not going to be allowed in the press box then.
But he does puff out his chest and call himself out on Twitter.
There are plenty of neutral journalists up there.
Where? Where? Why are the media guys?
Well, there's
the
like 75 people upstairs.
Well, why don't they just hug them out?
Why wouldn't we be excited about Blue Man Group coming to pay us a visit?
Oh, they threw a marshmallow
but what's
at me.
wrong
That's
with that?
So cute.
What's wrong with that?
It's just thinking cute. Hey, we've got the prediction board.
Hey, let's change the subject as usual.
We've got the prediction board.
Tony's right and everybody's wrong. That's still on the board.
Okay, what's on the board?
Tony doesn't listen to me. That's still on the board.
That's a constant.
Yep.
Matt, what do we have on there today? Are you going to pull up the prediction board? I have to give myself some props. Yeah? Maybe? No?
Armani Rogers out. This is the only reason he wants us to pull up this board is
because I'm always right.
Because he got a check mark on there. The rest of his predictions won't come to
ahead.
fruition for another 2 years.
Let's hear it. So last week,
Armani Rogers out 3 games. That was your prediction last week.
Yes.
That you actually undershot it. He's out 6 games, you said.
But 6 weeks, so 5 games. Maybe.
So this was in the face of everybody else saying he'd be back for this Saturday's game, for today's game.
Right.
You said he'd be out at least 3 games. You got one right, Tony. But I mean, turf toe. We talked about it on the show last week. That is not an injury you just come right out of and you're good to go. It sounds so stupid, turf toe, but it's a legit injury. It's a tough one to get through.
Yeah, so silly. What else do we have on that board?
Anything current? Not really. I had the Browns beating the Raiders. Missed that one.
Yeah, you missed that one.
But
you're happy there. Yeah, we'll get into Raider talk in a little bit.
It's better.
Okay.
But everything else, like I said, Tony, yours won't even be accurate for another 2 or 3 years.
If I only had sources, they would tell me that Armani Rogers would have been out.
Years from now.
Well, my sources might have told me, if I had sources, that Armani Rogers would be missing some action. How could you come back from turf toe the next week?
Clearly you can't.
So it's his left foot, and they don't know.
6 weeks, though?
Yeah, they don't know. Well, he broke a bone in there.
Okay.
And he played to his credit, to Armani Rogers' credit, he played the entire game and never complained about it. We just heard from Gabe McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I know when he did get hurt. It was a play out of bounds where he got knocked silly because he had to keep running the football when you have good running backs behind you. But the thing about it was Max Gillum did come in for a couple of snaps, and then Rogers was later to return. So, but he didn't complain. He toughed it out. They really wanted to win the game, and unfortunately they couldn't pull it out. And hopefully they beat New Mexico.
Do you have a prediction for tonight's game?
We are going to go into that in hour 2, okay? That's my prediction. We will talk about the Rebel football team.
Prediction.
We're going to football. We're going to football today? Yeah?
Tell us about Gillum. We'll all be there.
Yeah.
But tell us about Gillum, Tony. We heard he's a bit better of a passer, but I don't know how much until we actually see him. I know they threw a lot of screens at Saddleback. Is that where it was? A lot of passes behind the line of scrimmage?
We are going to see some tunnel screens. You can rest assured and just get the ball into the playmakers' hands.
Yeah.
Yes.
Receivers?
Yeah.
Wow.
It has to be frustrating for the receivers.
It's got to be. You can't just be a blocking receiver and expect to stay engaged in the game. It's one thing to block from time to time, but when you're only getting 5 passes a game total, I mean, that's got to be tough.
Okay, one of my predictions, John, you're hearing some rumblings. Las Vegas ballpark will not be ready in time for the season.
Well, I refute that now because next week the media will be in fanboy media, the fanboys out there, because there's, a ton for the 51s.
There are?
They'll be invited out on, I think it's Thursday the 11th, the topping off ceremony.
Yep.
So the final steel beam, I guess,
right,
is going up, and they're going to have some Of course, Steve Sisolak is there. Where is he not? But he's always there.
With a
he'll
shovel,
be there,
usually.
and the executives from the 51s will be there. So that's kind of their topping off ceremony, and then they start pouring all the concrete and everything. So the frame is there. The frame is done. So maybe these rumors aren't.
I still say
still got
it'll
6
be
months.
ready to host a game. It just all the little extras won't be quite done. You won't have all the
No
restrooms.
restrooms.
You
Yeah.
won't have all the concessions.
Drops.
I said all.
Well, you're out
You'll
in the
have
desert.
some.
No, it's okay. You're
You'll
in the
have
desert.
some.
Yeah.
But I mean, going from Cashman Field to this ballpark, where Cashman Field had one concession stand open 90% of the time.
This is true.
It'll
Anything's an
it'll be
upgrade.
fine. Exactly. It'll be an upgrade from what we're used to, even if it isn't quite completed. But seats will be in there. Playing surface will be good to go. They'll be able to open up for the first game. I don't think that everything will be done.
So April the 9th against Sacramento, mark it down, because if I had alleged sources, they would tell me that the stadium will not be completed in time for the start of the regular season. And I still have a feeling that Big League Weekend will be held at Cashman Field. I do. And, and John, you've heard those rumblings, though, right, about a delay in the
Little
stadium?
bit.
They're out there a little bit?
The rumblings are out there.
Yeah, you started all of them.
But
Yeah, well, that's true.
But
Good
it's
point.
all there's no real
But-
there's no good source for
Okay,
it.
there's no good
There-
source.
there-
That's just-
there's
Other than Tony.
rumblings, but no good source.
Tony's the only one.
But I started
Yeah.
it here, okay? Just keep your eye on that.
It's on the board.
Okay, it is on.
Notice how the Las Vegas Lights haven't been able to do anything at Cashman Field, though. They want to change the stands and
Right.
everything.
Well,
their last
they've only
game is
got
coming.
one game
But I'm
left.
just
They're not
saying,
gonna
start
maybe they want to add
construction.
maybe they
Here's the
wanted
deal.
temporary bleachers or
No,
something.
because
in
I
there.
remember Brett Lashbrook telling us about that they weren't going to do anything this season, that it would be for the second season.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
John,
you're
you're
not
getting
going to
warmer.
start construction with a game to go.
You're getting warmer because I think it's a 30 or 60-day window that the 51s will have to tell the Lights
Correct.
that they will vacate Cashman Field. And up until now, it's not happened. So that's one of the first signals to me that the new ballpark will not be prepared, will not be ready for
or
opening day.
also they're just being cautious. I mean, there's no reason to dump out of it now. What for? What for?
That's why you give yourself that little timeline.
So the 51s aligned with the Oakland A's, their new AAA affiliate. How much will the Aviators increase attendance by? Will it be substantial?
Yeah, they've already sold a good amount of season tickets. The first handful of rows all around from first to third base are already sold out. I think just logistically, you're going to get more people going there.
So what,
You
25,
can make it
30%?
a full day experience.
Let's talk percentages. Like how much? I think it's going to be. I think it's going to
I
be
think
an
they're gonna
absolute
do very
hit.
well.
It's going to be
Yeah.
a hit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're
it
talking
has to
about
be.
the middle of Summerlin, a big retiree community, a big community that may not want to pay $85, $100 to go to a Golden Knights game, but they
85.
want.
Where did you find $85 tickets?
Well, lower. Well, if you got in early, right?
Yeah, well, too late for
$85.
that.
$85. But yeah, they're not paying that, so they'll pay $20 a game.
What's the percentage of the increase? Because I think 25 to 30% on the low end. I really
Right.
do.
I
think
agree with
it's going to be set on fire. It's going to be the
I
thing to
can't
do in
imagine
Summerlin on a
how
Saturday
many,
night.
How many season ticket holders were left in Cashman Field?
Good point.
I mean, there couldn't have been that many. It's got to be at least that much for an increase. It probably is already there, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. It's great for downtown Summerlin, right? Because, after games at Cashman Field, you
You get out of Dodge.
You would flee.
Yeah.
Okay, but now
It's 10:30 at night. Run.
I don't know why I said the word flee, but
Because you do.
Yeah. Okay, so in Summerlin, right, you can grab a drink, you can grab some food.
It's an all-day
you can go
event
to-
now. You
can
can
go
make
to
it an
a
event.
movie after the game if it's early enough. I mean, there's plenty to do there because it's an entertainment complex. I would have to think that all the businesses there at Summerlin are really happy about this, big.
Well, funny you mentioned that, Tony. I run the biggest sports department in the city, just in case you didn't know that, with the Rebel Report.
Well, we all do
the
now,
Emmy
John.
Award-winning Rebel Report.
Award-winning Rebel Report. Thank you.
It's not on the board that John will win another Emmy.
That's a given. You got
That's
to
a
throw
given.
that on
Oh,
there. But the students went out and they talked to a couple businesses out there. Obviously, they're fired up, and the walk is not too long. It's 7 or 8 minutes from downtown Summerlin to go to the front of the stadium. So it really is.
Not
it'll
even.
be
I mean,
perfect.
if you park
Yeah.
in that parking lot, I mean, you're right there.
Yeah.
It's just across the street.
Yeah,
so.
servers are going to be excited. A lot of people will be excited.
Yeah, this is going to be it's going to be a lot more fun to go to games now because you do have those options out there for, like you mentioned, bars, restaurants, shopping, whatever. You can go hang out for a little while before and after the game. You don't have to worry about like fleeing, like you said, Tony.
So it's going to be a diamond, you think, just on opening day. But how come they didn't build a dome? People ask me this all the time.
For a minor league ball club?
Would have been cool.
Yeah, I don't.
But it's
I don't,
going to be an entertainment complex,
but
too.
think
They're going
about-
to do concerts and
right,
shows.
but think about the cost involved
and John's
with throwing
Emmy
the roof
Award-winning
up.
That
ceremonies.
LVCVA
and-
money can only go so far, Tony.
That's
I mean,
yeah. You're talking about
know.
doubling the cost of that project for a AAA ball club. I don't know if that's even feasible.
We're going to step aside. When we return, we have much more. We'll talk about Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We'll talk about the lights. Hour 2, VGK, more VGK, and more VGK, the Raiders, and much, much more. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Sports Adrenaline Las Vegas show on CBS Sports, 1140 a.m.
that we'll ever have to see that team play on a baseball field again, because it doesn't look like they're going to stay at home.
I didn't have the audio up on the stream. I blew that, so we missed the teabag comment.
Yeah, that's good. They just saw you
radio
laughing
listeners
around.
and radio.com listeners, you got that covered.
Yeah.
If you're just coming in.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, guys, it's championship night at the Bull Ring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway tonight. 6 season titles are up for grabs. So that's going to be good. It's a good night out there. It's actually a lot of fun. So they have the NASCAR Bomber Division. Vinny Rauchi and Kyle Jacks are tied. Should be a good battle, 25 laps in the final featured race. And then the other divisions with titles on the line, you've got the Super Stocks division, the Legend cars, which are always fun, the Thunder cars, the Bandolero Outlaws, whatever. I don't know what that one is.
Bandoleros, yeah.
Yeah, the Bandoleros.
No idea.
And then our favorite, the skid plate cars, the skid plates.
Those are weird, man.
So what do? You just drive around on your rims? Like, what is this?
No, it's a skid plate. Sparks flying.
I know there's sparks flying, but they just put plates instead of the wheels. What do they do? I forgot.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. It's like driving a sled, I would imagine.
So it's a great deal. Go out to the Bull Ring.
I was out there drag racing last week.
Oh, yeah, we saw that. So where did this come from, man? All of a sudden, you're out there and you're Mr. Speed Racer. And,
yeah.
Hey, wait,
hardly.
There was no parachute on the back of your car, though. What the heck is that?
No, man. I was out there driving the 1967 Year One Camaro, which is pretty nice. My stepdad has been racing since as long as I can remember. And, I'm 4 or 5 years old. As long as I can remember, he had an old '69 Camaro that he turned into a super gas or a pro gas dragster. So I mean, this thing was running 9-second quarters out there. A few years ago, he finally sold the car, but the guy didn't want the motor or the tranny, so he kept the engine, and went and found a '77 Camaro that was all beat up, and spent a couple of years rebuilding it, and dropped that engine in there. Puts out about 750 horses. Street legal car. He went out there and ran a 10-second quarter with that thing. It was great. It was fun. So he rebuilt a 67 years ago. He's got a beautiful cherry 67 Camaro that he brought out too. So I got to drive that around for a little while and race that. It was fun.
So how many miles an hour? I don't know what a 10-second quarter means.
He went about 121 miles an hour.
You've never seen
in that car.
Fast and the Furious?
Yeah, but
yeah, that's a little far-fetched, Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
But yeah, so his car, his race car, which again is street legal, it's pretty awesome. But he ran 121 miles an hour, 10 and change on the quarter mile. The 67, not as fast. That's running like a 17-second quarter.
All we saw was video of cars, but I didn't detect that you were behind the wheel.
I was in the red one. I was the one that went a lot slower than the black one.
Okay, no, I was just curious because now, do you wear like a jumpsuit and the helmet and the whole nine?
If you're not running, I think it's under 12 seconds. If you're running under 12 seconds, then you have to have a helmet.
You didn't wear a helmet?
I was not running under 12 seconds in the red car. No helmet
That's
necessary.
Not safe,
you can even have a passenger. I mean, I'm going. It's a stock.
I know, but you're going 120 miles an hour.
I'm not.
Well, what was yours?
Mine was going about 80 miles an hour.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. It's a stock 350 Chevy engine. I mean, it's not. It doesn't get up like that.
I don't know much about. I'm not quite the gearhead.
The other car gets up there, man. That thing gets off the line quick.
It is a great deal to go out to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Concession prices are low, and children under age 12 get in free with a ticketed adult. So that's really a good deal. Great night out there at the Speedway. And hi to all of our friends out there, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Shout out.
It's fun. I like it out there.
There's so much to do. And I mean, again, it's obvious, but if you're new to the Valley, I mean, there's so much to do out here. I was talking about, a little off topic, but Lake Mead, never go to Lake Mead. It's one of the top 10, I think, recreation areas in the country, and yet I never go out there.
Love it.
So you have the Bull Ring out here as far as sports goes, the Bull Ring, the Lights, the Aces, all these, quote-unquote minor league teams that are out here.
There's really nothing that you can't do out here. If you have a hobby of some kind, outdoors, indoors, whatever it is, if you have a hobby, you can find it in Vegas.
We've got the Viva Lights. So the Viva Lights are in San Antonio today. They should change their official name to the Viva Lights. 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. They play San Antonio. Not enough. Haven't eaten enough tea bags yet. Isidro Sanchez is hoping the final 3-game stretch.
CBS Sports, no radio. You're all over it.
It's going to, it's going to help evaluate players actually for next season. San Antonio has already defeated the Lights 3-1 here in Vegas, and the Lights close out the season at home next week on 10-10, next Wednesday, school night. And so on school night, they have a party pass. This is why we love Las Vegas. It's a school night, party pass, all you can drink beer.
Amen.
I mean,
Yeah, that's a
and we
really
are who we
great
are.
idea.
It's like really
You talk about
the
wanting
motto
to
of this
flee
team.
an area after a game. That's all you can drink beer. Got to go.
Yeah,
gonna
it's
be
going to be a
chaos
lot of
out
fun. And then they play Phoenix Rising that night. Post-match autograph session. So get your tickets now. The Lights close out the season a week from Saturday on October the 13th. We have an entire hour left to go here on CBS
Golden
Sports
Knights
Radio.
coming up.
More Golden Knights, yes. We'll by popular demand.
Raiders.
A.K.A. John. You're listening to the Sports Adrenaline Show, CBS Sports Radio, 1140 a.m.
Drink, dine, and play at the Pint during the pro football.
Be listening tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on CBS Sports Radio.
CBS Sports Radio.
The only way you can take CBS Sports Radio 1140 with you is the radio.com app. Download it today and listen to us anytime, anywhere. We've got you covered, Las Vegas. Interviews, insights, and your input are all part of Sports Adrenaline. Here are your hosts, Tony Cordasco, John Castanino, Matt Gutierrez, and Haley Brooks on CBS Sports Radio, 1140 AM.
Go, Knights, go. Go, Knights. Come on, fanboy here.
Are you just practicing?
Go, Knights, go.
Are you practicing
That's
for
right.
the,
I've got
for the
5
press
games.
box? Yeah.
I'm going to come up with some new chants. I'm going to start them from the press box.
Oh,
So
no.
give me a freaking break.
Oh, welcome back to hour number 2.
You're too
Go,
high. In the press
Knights,
box,
go.
you're too high for anybody to hear you
Go,
anyways.
Knights, go.
We are brought to you by Michael Westra,
Tony can't
Allstate,
handle it. It's a distraction.
702-435-4211, and brought to you by The Pint on Charleston and Wallapai.
Tony, do you actually hate the Golden Knights?
No.
I think because you're such a Rangers guy, we finally got
that's
you to
not
get
it.
rid of the Rangers phone case.
No,
I think you
no,
just
no. How about
there's
me?
so much
How about me in the
hatred.
How about
for
me
that
in the locker room with
franchise.
my Rangers case talking to Fleury? That was the best.
It was it.
He was like looking at my phone.
Was it the
What
best?
So yeah, that's why I was
It's
never
what it
invited
is.
back.
He hates the Golden Knights.
No, that's
what
not
it
true.
is,
No.
John.
There's
Yeah.
things I dislike.
He doesn't
the fan
deny
base,
anything as
the
vehemently
fan
as
base
he's
is
denying this.
just
He
wacky.
hates them.
I think he's a bitter guy.
No,
I think
I'm not bitter.
There's something that we
You
haven't
know that
addressed with Tony.
you know I'm a fan, and I've worn my jersey, but not to the press
Yeah.
box like you, John.
Yeah, once because I called you out on it. I think you burned it after that one time.
No,
that
I
you
have
wore
it.
But we do have photo proof that you did wear a Golden
I did
Knights
wear
jersey.
a Golden Knights jersey.
Yeah, I think there's something underlying
No,
underneath
no,
the
no, no,
surface.
Do you
no.
remember when
we
we
don't
did
know
the
about
video?
Tony.
We
It's
did
just-
the
it's
Miley
just
Cyrus
balance.
video for
Yeah.
the playoffs. Tony wouldn't even put the jersey on. He just held it up. Just held
It's
it up.
balanced, John.
Just so
it's
much
not just a
hatred.
one-way street.
Yeah, it's
not
balanced.
just.
They
hey,
played terrible.
Let's just
They
talk about the
played
Golden Knights. They're
terrible.
not playing any opponents here.
Oh man, I'm happy to call out somebody when they play terrible. Like I've used John Merrill's name like 17 times in my tweets. He
Yep.
had a terrible game.
Terrible
game. He was in the locker room. He said he's going to do better. I don't think he's playing.
You're not as biased as the rest. At least you didn't post marshmallow.
I did not. I did get a marshmallow. Tony, I
Marshmallow
just
photos.
wasn't there when the Blue Man Group came up to the press box and handed out marshmallows. So I would have.
I saw some media people hugging him. They were just hugging it out with them.
No,
it was
that's
awesome.
incorrect.
So I have to ask you guys,
Fake news,
That's
Tony.
incorrect.
what will the record be for the Golden Knights on this 5-game road swing? Tonight at the Wild, which lost to Winnipeg in the first round of the playoffs, we recall last season. And then at the Sabres on Monday, 12 noon game time Monday for that holiday that we don't know what to call it. I think it used to be Columbus Day, whatever it is now. And then on the road at Washington on the 10th, that's Wednesday. Then at the Penguins the following night. Then they wrap things up at Philly in the rematch. And Pierre Maguire on the broadcast the other night said that there was a lot of chirping between the two teams on the ice. Will it get chippy in Philadelphia next week?
I certainly hope so. I want to see some more hitting come out of this team against Philly. I think they got beat up a little bit. I do like that Pacioretty kind of stepped up there late in the game, threw the gloves down. The game was out of hand, so it was a smart penalty.
All two fans that were remaining at T-Mobile.
Oh, my God, with that. Don't
we're
be that
so
guy.
excited to see Patches drop the glove.
Don't be that guy. You act like there's not you, media in general. We're going to lump you into this, Tony, media.
So
like
about
there was a mass
media.
exodus.
Yeah,
from
500
come
people
on.
of the 18,555, which was a regular season attendance
Yes.
record. 500 people left. That's about how many left when the game was out
I think
of
the
hand and it
season
was
high
5-1.
attendance will be like 22,000 this year.
Sure, they'll just cram
there's
them
no-
all in. Fire
there's no
hazard.
fire. Yeah, there's no
Right.
fire marshal
standing
checking
room
things
only.
out there.
You're fine.
So
You're fine.
I blame this all on Imagine Dragons. I
do
again,
too. They're not allowed in T-Mobile
Okay. So-
anywhere near a game anymore.
So
if
I
there's a
went to-
game within 24 hours, you got to go.
I went the night before the opening face-off, opening night. I went to an Imagine Dragons show, and I was tweeting about it, and I got a bunch of grief. In the aftermath, it was Imagine Dragons.
It was
they played
probably
there
one person.
the night before.
Tony says
That's a lot of
it's
grief.
like
If
one
one
person.
person's complaining, that's a lot of grief in my book.
Then we catch a lot of grief on this show from
So
the guy complaining.
Hey, John, did you wear one of those Golden Knights blazers out to the
I would
to the
have
game?
loved one, and that would have
What do you
looked
think
terrific.
of the media people wearing
Nothing.
Golden Knights attire?
Now, who's the media
Yeah,
people, right? You're talking about
the play-by-play guys are not
the
the media
play-by-play
people.
guys.
They're
No,
employed by the
I'm
team.
not. Well,
Fox 5 did. My friends from Fox 5,
so
they're
TV
anchors.
people. What do you think of TV
Nothing
people
wrong
wearing?
with that. They
Why?
should be homers, Tony.
Why?
We've been through this last
No,
season
I
already.
can't think of any
It's
time
the
in
local
my
team.
entire
Why would
life.
you not support it?
In my entire life, in New York, they're wearing Rangers jerseys.
New
and
York
Rangers
is the saltiest
jackets.
place on the planet.
Yeah,
Come
They don't
on, for
exactly.
count.
crying out
We're not
loud.
New
Be
York.
objective.
Philly,
You're a
New
member of the
Jersey,
media.
they
How
hate
You're losing
everything.
credibility by the
They hate their
by
own
the
kids
moment.
out there, Tony.
We're optimistic in this city as opposed to those East Coasters, you know?
How optimistic? You guys didn't answer the question.
Well, that's
5
what I
point
was
trip.
trying to get to if you
5
shut
point
your
trip.
yapper.
I got them at a 5-point trip. How's that?
You say 3 wins?
Well, it's either
5
3
point
and
trip.
2 or 2 and 3, right? I mean,
I'm
Who are
going
they
5.
beat?
I'm going 5 points.
Who are they going to
Yeah.
beat? Who are they going to
so
beat?
2 and 1?
I think they beat Minnesota.
Minnesota's got their
I think
number.
they beat
We'll see
Minnesota.
how they come back tonight.
I think they beat Buffalo. And then
Yeah.
I
Possibility
think
at
they pull a
Buffalo.
point out of those
Although,
other 3 games.
You know what?
I like that.
That early start concerns me. At
Why?
Buffalo.
They practice at that time.
Okay, it just concerns me.
No, they're out on the ice that time anyways. They'll be fine.
They're not going to beat the
The
Penguins.
practices look
They
good.
will not
They
beat
look fresh for
Washington.
practice,
So
right?
those are 2 L's right there. Those are 2 L's.
Who was it? Washington and who?
And Pittsburgh. They
Okay.
will not beat either one of them. And Philly appears as though they have their number 2. So I'm
Well,
going to say at least
They're
minimum.
They're 1-2 lifetime against Philly. Lost both games here. They beat
Minimum
them there. So that
2 and
I don't know
3.
that counts as having your number.
And with the Wild,
I say they pull a
they're
point
0 and 3.
out of those last 3 games. Somewhere they pull a point. So I'm going 5-point trip. Which out of a possible 10, that's not bad for a 5-game East Coast swing. Take 5 points.
So Gerard Gallant said that the team played too loose in the neutral zone, allowed too many easy passes for the Flyers in game 1. So how do they correct that?
Get back to doing what they do. Play fast.
What?
Getting those
what do
passing
they
lanes.
do? Preseason hockey?
They were great in passing lanes all season long. You know that. They got in the way of
Yeah,
every
but this
pass.
is a
They made
different
everything
team. I think
difficult.
people forget that this
It's
is a different team.
not that different of a team. You're missing Nate Schmidt,
Yes, that's a
Perron
big
and
absence.
Neal, but you got Stasny and Pacioretty in their place. So I think you upgraded there overall.
Okay.
Yeah, you're missing Schmidt, which is big.
Are you concerned
And
about
that's-
lines 3 and 4? No?
I don't like that Carrier and Reeves are both on the ice at the same time on that 4th line. I think they're not one and the same, but they're very similar players. I'd prefer to see somebody else on that line with them. Alex Tuck not being there changes things a lot. If Nosek drops back down to that 4th line when Tuck comes back, that's huge. But Alex Tuck needs to be back, and we need to see Cody Eakin back. Cody Eakin is he's good on the faceoffs. He's good on the penalty kill. He's just a steady presence there on that 3rd line center.
Yeah, so just they've got to start off this road trip on the right foot, and that's with Minnesota. And we talked to the guys. So we played this first hour, but I'm sure we have got it, because these listeners rotate, and we've got thousands listening at this point. But Max Pacioretty, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, and Jonathan Marchessault show. We start with Pacioretty here, talking about what went wrong during the season opener. He hits the nail on the head, then going into the road trip and how these guys feel about playing Minnesota again, and where they where they go from here.
Start, great mindset coming out. Seemed as if we couldn't, string together a couple plays in order to make something happen, a couple posts, and then fell back on our heels. And that's not our game. The second period we played on our heels, got caught in between. A couple times there, our team is built off speed. If someone makes a mistake, we back them up because of our speed, and we got away from that. And good news is we know what went wrong, and we're looking to fix it for next game.
A long road trip, 5 games. Just talk about the keys, obviously, to bounce back really quickly from this one.
Yeah, I mean, in this business, you got to have a short memory, and that's exactly what's nice about going on the road now and playing in 2 days is we get to forget about this one. That's a big reason why this team has success. They got the short memory from the top to the bottom. As long as everyone has the right mindset and is pulling their weight and worries about the process, we'll win a lot of games.
Yeah, the most important part is just the first 5. It's a team that comes extremely hard out of the gate. So if we play anything like tonight, we will be in trouble. The good news is we know what we can do. We didn't execute tonight, but they're a tough team to play against, especially at home. So we're gonna have to be ready for it.
Yeah, we got to be ready. They have a great team. They're successful for so many years. They have great players, and definitely need
for the first
to
time
step it up because tonight
in team
our
history.
effort was really not good enough.
No, it's over. For the
Now
first
it's over.
Yeah, oh, it wasn't?
Now it's over.
We lost it. For the first
What were you
time,
listening to
I'm not
over
wearing.
there?
I'm not wearing headphones.
It
today.
would help things during
Amateur
the
hour. Sorry,
sound.
I've got a stream here. For the first time in team history, the Golden Knights are below 500. You believe that? 0-1.
Yeah.
Never happened
I know.
before.
I tweeted that out, too.
And Belmar touches on it, though, right? First 5 minutes against Minnesota, you got to think the Golden Knights are going to come out with their hair
Well,
on fire.
I like
and hopefully
what-
that sustains them. You know,
Yeah.
they played great the first 10 minutes against the Flyers, and then after that they tailed off. So
I like what Pacioretty said. He said this team was great last year, having that short memory, and that's something that Gallant's done a really good job of is getting this team to play game to game instead of hanging on to wins and losses. I fully expect them to come out on fire against Minnesota and sustain it throughout the entire game. I think you're going to see a much better effort from top to bottom, especially defensively. Offensively, they had chances. We talked about the crossbars, talked about a couple of the loose pucks in front of the net that they just couldn't sneak in. But as the game wears on and you're not playing well, those chances, you don't get those scoring opportunities when you're not playing well. You're not as crisp, you're not as sharp, you're not as able to jump onto the puck. That comes from playing good hockey.
I was concerned about the defense prior to this season. I'm concerned now.
yeah,
I am.
and that's legitimate, Tony. I mean, that was the concern in the offseason. They didn't add anything. Holden, I haven't seen enough out of the kid to really make an assessment on him right at this point. But that's the bugaboo of this team, for lack of a better way to put it. I mean, the defensive pairings, and as we said in the first hour, I don't think John Merrill's playing tonight. Gallant's going to switch around these defensive pairings until he sees what works. And maybe he doesn't find it until Nate Schmidt comes back, and then he's got to figure everything out again. So
I think once Schmidt comes back is when you might start seeing a guy like
And when is that
Brandstrom
going to
come
be?
up.
20 games? Is
November 19th will be
the 19th.
the first night that he's eligible to come back.
And who do they play? Calgary?
Calgary. That's
Calgary.
right. Calgary on the road.
and just for the record, Golden Knights and Minnesota Wild minus $1.10. So they're an even money. Well, not even money, but they don't have them as the underdog going into this one because I'm sure sportsbooks know the Golden Knights are probably going to come back with a nice rebound effort here tonight.
Jason Zucker in action, the Las Vegas native there tonight. And then last year, 2 of the 3 games, Subban was actually in net. So when we return, we'll talk about the Swedish sensation, Eric Brandstrom, and then get into some Raiders talk. Don't go away. You're tuned in to CBS Sports Radio, 1140 a.m.
tomorrow at 9:30 on CBS Sports Radio, 1140.
Your input is always welcome at 702-889-5978. You're listening to Sports Adrenaline with Tony Cordasco, John Castanino, Matt Gutierrez, and Haley Brooks.
And for Haley, what did one of our friends say on Facebook? Haley's on assignment, a.k.a.
Sleeping in.
Sleeping in.
No, she had to go out of town again.
Yep.
She commutes quite a bit.
She does commute a lot. And hopefully she'll be back on our show on Wednesday night on Facebook Live, of course, and then next week. And Sonia Schlobaum is also here in the house. Sonia, you good today? Is everything rolling there?
Yeah.
You're watching some football, too?
I am, yes.
Yeah, she's
the
completely
Red
checked
River
out.
rivalry.
Oh, you got it.
Say it again.
Red River rivalry.
There we go.
Yeah, she's better
Showdown.
than me.
They call it the Red River Showdown on TV, so it's easier.
Okay.
Sonia's like gasping, right, in our
Yeah.
last segment, and I think she's gasping because something goes wrong on the board or we
She
don't
usually
have the
gasps
audio.
at my jokes, too.
Nope,
She likes my
just,
jokes.
She's just into our 19-inch high-def television here in the studio, and that's
she's,
that.
She's a Big 12 gal.
It's exciting. It's college football.
So I know you are a big college football
This
fan.
is college football. What
And
we
Purdue,
have out here is
Purdue has a
school.
day off.
They do. They're off in the next week, Illinois, at Illinois.
Look at her. It's all
Yeah.
over.
Watch out for the team speed of Illinois. I like
You
that.
never
team. A little bit. They're on
know.
the way
Lovie
up.
Smith's still there?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's the head coach, I think.
Yep,
Which
he
is,
still is.
Yeah. So you never know. They might be able to win. I don't know. I don't think so. Boilermakers got it.
So, hey, back to puck, guys. The Swedish sensation, Eric Brandstrom, he scores a couple of goals last night. The Chicago Wolves, 3-2 the win over the Colorado Eagles. Brandstrom scored his first goal in the second period. Then he adds the game winner 48 seconds into OT for the win. The former first-round draft pick by the VGK in 2017. And once again, Oscar Dansk, 27 saves in the win. He plays very well with the Wolves.
The Dance Revolution.
Yes.
The Golden Knights don't need offense right now, so I know where you're going here, Tony. I know you're like, hey, call Brandstrom up.
I just wanted to get the words Swedish sensation.
I want to
out
see
there.
Bischoff in the lineup in the next couple games. I want to see what he does. Again, he's the more consistent player, right? He's not as dynamic as Brandstrom is, but right now we don't need defensemen that pinch at the wrong time and give up odd man rushes, 2-on-nones, 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s. It's a bad spot to be in.
You forgot 3-on-2s.
That's why I think you won't see Brandstrom up until minimum Nate Schmidt comes back. I think once you get Schmidt back and you have a more steady presence there, you can filter guys down a little bit. Then you can afford to bring him in there and allow him to take a chance or two now and then and kind of get into the flow. But before then, pending injury, I mean, unless guys just start dropping, I don't think you'll see him up until late November.
Good news for local fans. AT&T Sportsnet now on Dish TV. So that was announced yesterday. All the games will now be carried on Dish, right?
Only
You've
a
got
year in,
Cox,
now everybody can finally
you've
watch
got
the games.
DirecTV,
Hey, at least it's not
you've
the
got
Dodgers,
CenturyLink.
right?
Yeah, no kidding. 5 years later. Ridiculous. MLB and their blackout rules, man. They got to figure things out.
Well, they started the game on NBC SN late the other night.
Oh, late.
Yeah.
Why, for another game?
Because, of course, the almighty Rangers were in action.
There it is. You're not a fan, Tony.
He hates the Golden Knights. He hates them.
Let's move along to the Raider Nation. So the Raiders come off of their first win of the season against the Browns on Sunday, 45-42.
A little dicey, but
yeah, in overtime.
A win's a win.
Yeah, it was great. I enjoyed the game, actually. We were watching it right here in these spacious studios as we prepared for the post-game show, the PG.
Can the NFL go find some referees that can, I don't know, see the field? And this isn't a homer call. I cannot believe how bad some of the calls in that game were.
On both sides.
Derek Carr gets hit. He's upright, gets hit. The ball comes out. The refs blow the play dead, say he was in the grasp. The first touch, that ball was out of his hands. He wasn't in any grasp at any point. It should have been a fumble recovery touchdown going the other way. Now, granted, the Browns scored, 30 seconds later. I mean, they got the ball right back and scored. But the early whistle on Marshawn Lynch, how do you not let Marshawn Lynch break a tackle?
How about the?
He's in the process of breaking a tackle. They're calling. I mean,
so he spins out of two defenders and he's sailing towards the end zone, and they blow the play dead.
They were
How
bad.
about his reaction, though? He kicks the football.
Almost
which I
kicked
thought,
it. He missed it.
I
He's
thought it
lucky
was
he missed
hilarious. That's what I would have done. I
Well-
might have picked up, if the football was close to him, he might have picked it up and thrown it at the ref.
Well, he went to punt it. It's a good thing Marshawn Lynch isn't the punter for the Raiders.
This
although
is a
it
good
couldn't
thing.
be much
Although
worse.
Yeah.
He completely missed the kick. Had he kicked it, it would have been a delay
I
of game,
thought that was
15-yard
awesome.
penalty.
I thought it was great,
But,
though, that his reaction was super.
The most
The-
critical one, though, I'll
the
bring
first
it up.
down.
Yep, 2 minutes to go.
Yep.
And the first down play there. Where
Carlos Hyde.
Yeah.
That was
first
ball
down
game.
that didn't turn into a first down, and they didn't bring out the note card, as you mentioned during our Facebook
Yeah.
show. That was the only thing that was missing was
There's the index card.
Yeah, the index card to measure that
But
first down.
the thing about that play is earlier in the game, Jarvis Landry had a catch where he got the line to gain, but coming back for the ball, he was short, came down both feet short of the line to gain, and was tackled. And they gave him forward progress, even though he never had the ball there. And they reviewed it and still gave him the first down when that was very clear that he didn't get there. Then later in the game with the Carlos Hyde play, very questionable spot. You couldn't really tell where it was. Maybe you can say, yeah, move it back half a foot or something like that, but it was really close. Maybe not enough to overturn it, but they overturned that one.
There was no worse call.
The Browns have to punt.
Right.
Raiders get the ball. They get the touchdown. They get the 2-point conversion, force overtime, and then get the field goal to
But
win
the
it.
worst call of the game, Arden Key roughing the passer.
Whoa, what was that? What was that?
I mean, if
He
two-hand
touched him.
touch is roughing the passer, then they can call that
Tony,
every
he
day.
didn't even two-hand touch. He pulled up and threw his hands in the air and barely bumped him with his chest. There was barely any
That was
contact.
horrible.
Baker Mayfield didn't go down. It's
Mayfield
not like
was
he
kind
knocked
of
him
laughing.
down.
He was like, "Really? Like that was roughing the passer?"
They
I
don't
like
know.
this
They don't
league.
know what the hell they're doing at this
Well,
point. The
here's-
referees are a disaster in the NFL.
Here's
Maybe the worst in sports.
The good thing moving forward is that the Raiders now have a home game on Sunday. It's
Yes,
a home game.
it is a home. Matt's going.
Yeah.
It's a home game for the Raiders. So
It's-
they'll be 2-3, and that all
No,
is well.
I don't
Oh,
know.
you don't
man.
think so?
No, because it doesn't matter where they play. They almost lost in their actual home to the Browns.
Chargers haven't.
The Browns. They
Chargers,
gave up 42 points to the Browns. What do you think Phillip Rivers is going to do to this team with no
Well,
pass
they haven't
rush?
had a bad game yet. The Chargers overall. I think the season opener they didn't look that great, but you know
No, but
the
who have they
Chargers
lost
are the
to?
Chargers.
Yeah,
I
but
think
who
it
have
was
they lost to?
The season opener they lost.
They lost to the Rams
by
and then-
7.
the Rams, which may be the best team of football.
Yep.
And then who else? They lost to another good team. They've only lost 2 games to
They
two
lost,
good teams.
Chargers going to charge at some point. You know,
They lost to Kansas City, right?
I think with that Raider crowd there, they're going to get
yeah,
sick of
yeah.
the opposing team's fans. I mean, I'm sure they're already sick of it, but I think the Raider fans amp it up a notch. I think that the Chargers are going to be sick of having too many opposing teams' fans there.
Phillip Rivers, with time to throw, will pick this team apart. If they cannot generate a pass rush against Phillip Rivers, he's going to destroy this team. I don't see how without a pass rush they can beat the Chargers. And I don't think the Chargers
They
are
lost
world
to the
beaters right
Chiefs.
now. Yeah,
Yeah.
Chiefs and Rams. There are
That's
2
what I said.
losses. I mean, maybe Super Bowl right there.
So
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't see with the way the Raiders are playing on defense and their inability to get after a quarterback. I think it's going to be really tough for them. I don't care who's in the crowd. I think it's going to be tough for them to slow
I'm
the
just going
Chargers
on
down.
Mojo here.
last week
Mojo.
was a game that saw the Raiders have 2 100-yard receivers, a 100-yard rusher, and a 400-yard passer for the first time in franchise history. I think that those last 2 drives by Derek Carr were defining. If this season now takes a step forward and they start to compile wins, that leadership last week, I know he's taken a lot of flack, but that was textbook, and he really had command of the huddle. The play calling was exceptional. You know, they drive down, they get the touchdown and the 2-point conversion on sort of similar plays there on that left-hand side of the end zone. I just thought, I can't speak enough about, the way that he just really handled that moment.
It's the first time we've seen Derek Carr look like that since the 2016 season. Since he broke his leg. That's the last time that we saw him look like that version of Derek Carr. And you know how great 2016 was. He was an MVP candidate throughout the entire season. Last season, coming back from the leg injury, dealing with the back injury that he got in week 2 or 3, just never really looked like himself. And even in this game, it was spotty. The first half was very uneven. I think being able to generate turnovers that close to the end zone, I mean, they had the worst starting field position in the NFL through the first 3 games of the year. They finally got the ball in plus territory on a handful of occasions. They were able to turn that into points, and I think that really just kind of switched the momentum, maybe turned the tide a little bit, and got Derek Carr back into a rhythm. And then late in the game, you saw him with those drives that they needed to tie it and then get the win.
The defense played well in spurts. We had the Garyon Conley pick 6. Reggie Nelson had an interception as well. And Mo Hurst played well defensively. 3 tackles, 3 pressures, a forced fumble, a batted down pass, and Hurst graded out the best defensively.
Yeah, we have to see more. Man, they need P.J. Hall back. They need another interior lineman that can push the pile like that. And we have to see more out of Bruce Irvin and Arden Key.
Yeah.
Not enough on the edge right now.
Now, what about Darryl Worley and his return?
I'm just bringing
Are they going to utilize him?
I hope so.
5-point spread here.
5 points?
5 points.
Are you going to take or give?
I'm going money line Raiders.
You're not a giver. You're a
going
taker.
money line Raiders.
Money line. What is the money line in that
Well,
game?
I'm going to find out
Okay.
right now.
So Worley in action. How much is he going to add? The player who got a DUI, resisted arrest, carried a firearm back on April the 15th. So he was a member of Carolina, the Panthers, and then traded to Philly, which was kind of odd. Never played in Philly, gets in trouble, and then the Raiders pick him up, and he's getting a second chance. So we'll get that point spread.
5.5 plus 195 from our
Plus
good friends at
195.
US Bookmaking, now available in Las Vegas.
And no gambling allowed in the press box, Matt. So you're not going to have any action.
That's not true.
You're
It's
listening to the
Vegas.
Sports Adrenaline Show right here
LA.
on CBS Sports Radio, 1140 a.m.
the radio.com app. Download it today and search CBS Sports Radio 1140 in Las Vegas and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
Welcome back to the show. We are brought to you by our fine sponsors, Michael Westra, Allstate, 702-435-4211, and also brought to you by The Pint on Charleston and Wallapai, home of the Bad Beat Brewing Company. Garbage idea to put a team in the desert beer.
I'm looking forward to that.
We are efforting. It could be next week, but some folks from the Pint and Bad Beat. So Bad Beat, excellent beer. I encourage you to try it. They're available pretty much everywhere, but they made this Golden Knights specific beer. They're going to have a launch within the next couple weeks, and we hopefully next Saturday will be having some samples here in the studio that we can try bright and early at 8 or 9 a.m. But they're great people over there. You know, I saw a billboard, Tony, advertising one of the big conglomerates in town. $3 hot dogs, $20 buckets, but the Pint, $15 buckets, $2 hot dogs. So there you go.
And the sound on for Raider games.
Raider games, and obviously every
the
Golden Knights game.
Yep, that's terrific.
We'll also have TJ Love in studio next week from Vegas Sports Foundation.
What is that?
Really great. Doing a nice nonprofit thing here to get kids to play flag football. The goal is to generate enough money here to get these kids in there for free. Let them get in and play football for free. So
flag
we'll have
football,
him in studio to talk about it.
That'll prepare them very well for the NFL.
Yep.
Well, we're shouting out
absolutely, especially if you're playing quarterback.
Nonprofits, the Simon Keith Foundation, their golf tournament was yesterday.
Yeah.
5 years, over $1 million for organ transplant, essentially awareness, donations, and really they help kids get back on the field, right? So this kid yesterday, their ambassador, Oscar is his name, goes to Somerset Academy, heart transplant at the age of 12. And I mean, just insane. Really good kid.
TJ's daughter, same thing.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, to link the two. TJ's daughter was one of the ambassadors for Simon Keith as well. So that's a great organization to link up with.
The Charger game tomorrow. Well, last year the Chargers won both games, 17-16 in Oakland, where we saw Derek Carr picked off twice. Cordero Patterson, remember him? He scored a touchdown. Bad snap on the missed extra point, 17-16. And it was a field goal at the end, at the closing gun, that won the game for the Chargers. And then the 30-17 loss on New Year's Eve that nobody cared about.
I was at that
Phillip
game
Rivers,
in Oakland.
Touchdown passes.
That was one of the ugliest games I've ever been to live, was that Chargers-Raiders game in Oakland. That was just
nobody
talk
cared.
about no rhythm. I mean,
no one cared.
No, this was early in the season. This is the first one in Oakland. That game
you went
was
to the first one.
I went to the first one. Yeah, that was October 7th, I think. It was about the exact same time last year.
Well,
that was an ugly game.
And it goes back to what I was saying. The Chargers have not had a stinker of a game yet. I feel like it's coming.
It's coming.
You know it's coming.
Not against the Raiders, man. I mean,
maybe it's this Sunday.
Phillip Rivers owns the Raiders. He's only lost a handful of games
it's
in
be
his
a home
career
game
against
for the Raiders.
They should have won. They should have been 1-1 last year. They should.
You know how many home games they've had in the last 15 years that they were blown out of?
Clearly, I'm
plenty of them to the Chargers.
I'm the ray of sunshine in this room. Well, maybe Sonia's the ray of sunshine. Tony's totally negative.
You're the ray of confusion right now.
You're just the anger guy from
I'm
Inside
the
Out.
most realistic Raiders fan you will ever come across.
I'm the honest guy.
Ever. I love that team, and I hate that team.
Hey, guys,
they
how come,
drive me nuts.
How come now I am the jinxer guy, too? Because
What'd you jinx now?
Well, I wanted to interview Max Gillum, and I got a flat-out no. They go, no, we don't want you jinxing him before his first collegiate start
what'd you
on the
do to
D1
our kicker,
level.
man?
Well, I obliterated the kicker. Never mind, Evan Pantel's. But what in the world? Now I'm going to have this stigma, too, on top of everything else?
Sports information at UNLV is anti-sports adrenaline is what I'm getting from you.
You just need to go sit down
It's
for a little
all
while,
Tony's
Tony.
fault.
Just sit down.
I
Turn
need
your
to
computer
meditate.
off for a little while.
I need to meditate.
I'm excited for this game. You know, I mean, you look at the scenario here for UNLV. Sorry to digress, Tony. 4-1 is what I mean. They had a chance to go 4-1. If
you
they
thought
won,
that they would beat
if they
Arkansas
won 2
State.
weeks
I did
ago,
not.
then,
Yeah.
I mean, they were a touchdown away from
but
possibly
I thought
being
they'd be
3-1.
2-2.
So if they're 3-2 right now,
They
I
should
mean,
be
that's not a
3-2.
bad spot to be in.
No,
it's not a
just
bad
count
spot.
down these wins. Take one win at a time.
If they lose this game today, oh man, where does that put them?
What would Nick
Where does
Saban?
that put them
What
if
would
they
Nick
lose this
Saban
game?
say about this student support here? He was blasting
Right.
the
Oh, isn't that
students for not
ridiculous?
showing up in the
God
student
forbid
section.
they
Saban's
show
an
up.
idiot.
Could
I've
you
had enough of that
imagine
guy.
him? Like, we just want him to coach here for a game. one day, what would he do? He'd lose his mind.
He'd quit 3 minutes in.
A buddy of mine used to cover Alabama football, and actually another friend of mine still does cover Alabama football. But those press conferences with Saban, boy, you ask him something they don't like, they will pull you out of the room and say, why did you ask these questions to Nick Saban? Whether it's about injuries or a player not playing.
Because that's your
another
job.
world.
That's why.
It's another world there, but you got to play ball with their sports folks over there, or else you don't get access. That's big college football.
So I think we're going to see a lot of New Lexico today against the New Mexico Lobos. I think Lexington Thomas has to get started.
The worst nickname ever.
New Lexico?
Terrible. You've had some good ones. I don't think that's one of them, Tony.
How about New Lex & Co., as in Lex & Company?
New Lexico, because he's revitalized. He comes back after a couple of weeks off. Kickoff time, 1 o'clock.
I want to see if they can pass for better than 5 of 21. Can they do that in a football game?
Well, the guy who does that is on the sideline with a boot.
Hey, guys,
so
Lex needs 47. He needs 47 yards to reach 3,000 rushing as a Rebel. That's terrific. And through 4 games, 79 carries, 469 yards. I want to go out on a limb preseason because I still think that he's going to just explode.
Well,
I hope so.
Imagine
Honestly,
how much.
I was going to say he could rush for 2,000.
Imagine
but you
how
guys
much
would have
room,
thought I was nuts.
Tony, imagine how much room he's going to have when you have a quarterback that's actually going to throw the ball, and you can't put 10, 11 people in the box on every single play. That the running lanes that Lex should have for this game, I think, are going to be huge.
This is going to be a high-scoring affair
that you've been waiting for from him, where he breaks out.
He's
got to
get 200.
Yeah.
I told him. I told Lex. I hit him on the shoulder pads. I said, I'm not going to jinx you. I'll jinx everyone else, but you, Lex. And I said, you're going to have a 200-yard game.
You should have been calling this game, Tony. This is the one.
Yeah, this would have been the one.
Yeah, man.
Getting back to Gillum, though, I really
do. You said his name correctly.
It's not Armin Gilliam?
That's great. A lot of folks here, we know his name is Gillum. We knew this from day one.
It's spelled Gilliam, but it's Gillum.
Even the ESPN Trey guys, at Arkansas State were calling him Gilliam. Bad prep. Sorry. So they're going the rest of the way, it appears, without Armani Rogers. So Rogers out now up to 6 weeks.
You say the rest of the way, huh?
I think so.
Well, when you start to see a quarterback that can throw the ball, maybe you just let him heal for a while.
Here's why, too, because if he returns, then he might not get the medical red shirt. So if he does not return, then he's got a good case. So I think, especially hopefully, if they are in contention for the bowl game and things are going smooth, and I still think we're going to see Oblad, the third-string quarterback, I still think Kenyon Oblad will show up sometime at some point under center.
Well, I really hope that Gillum fills out this role nicely, to be honest with you. We talked about it on this show. Armani Rogers, it doesn't seem like he's going to develop that passing game. It just doesn't. He hasn't grown at all since last season.
No.
And he's had 4 games this season to show any sort of progress. He's shown no progress being able to lead a passing attack. So if Gillum can throw the ball even a little bit, that's an improvement. We know he can run as well. Gillum can run a little bit as well when he needs to, right? But it
won't be his first option. This will not be run option.
Correct.
You ready for the hot take?
Yep.
We don't see Armani Rogers play quarterback for UNLV ever again.
Could be possible.
If you've got Gillum and you've got Oblad,
wow.
and you've got Oblad, and these two guys are legitimate quarterbacks, and they can throw the ball, you move him down in the depth chart. Where does he come in now? Unless he's playing a different position, I don't think you see him play quarterback
situation?
Anymore. Maybe
Johnny Stanton, Kurt Palandak.
Maybe
remember that
move him
two-headed
around.
monster. Yeah,
this is a big game for UNLV. I hope some fans show up. I think Gillum in the lineup now. We're going to see a lot more balance, right? To your point, John. And he's a 6'3" sophomore, already well-traveled. He started at Cal. This is his third stop. He redshirted at Cal in 2016. Last year, Saddleback Junior College, and now for UNLV. And what I think we will see is a development of more intermediate passing types of schemes, implemented for him. And then also, you have to – when was the last time you saw the tunnel screen, the slip screen screens? They tried one to Lex, and it didn't work.
You're talking about passing game, Tony. We haven't seen anything from the passing game in a year and a half.
Yeah, but that would have made Armani Rogers' job a lot easier.
If he can make those throws. He's just not a good passing quarterback right now. And like John said, we don't know if we'll ever see him develop into that.
New Mexico has a third-string quarterback in Sharon Jones. He threw for 312 yards, 4 touchdowns, plus 3 picks, all in 1 half. Those are his second half numbers against Liberty. Almost single-handedly brought the Lobos back They trailed 42-10. They lost 52-43. Another reason why we are going to see a high-scoring affair today at Sam Boyd. Get on out there, 1 o'clock kickoff.
Lobos on their third-string quarterback as well. So, I mean, I don't know what kind of depth they have at that position, but clearly this could be, if Gillum doesn't throw the ball around, it's going to be a run-heavy football game for sure.
The Rebel defense needs an interception. I mean, they have all those tackles for loss. They have 11 sacks already, equaling all of last season. But they need a pick. The last one, or the only one, Javen White against UTEP, that seems like it was a year ago. You don't want to go 29 quarters again like they did a year ago without an interception. How come they can't get picks?
But they're getting to the quarterback, Tony, which is a much better scenario.
Yeah,
than
it's
what
great
we've
defensive
had,
pressure
in past seasons.
Stay tuned. When we return, we'll talk about the one that got away. No, just kidding. UNLV basketball news as a recruit goes to Arizona. Ugh. Stay tuned. Sports Adrenaline Las Vegas right here on CBS Sports Radio, 1140 a.m.
We've got you covered, Las Vegas. Reach out to us. Tweet at Adrenaline LV. Find us on Facebook, Sports Adrenaline LV, or call us now at 702-889-5978. This is the Sports Adrenaline Show on CBS Sports Radio, 1140 AM.
And don't forget, Silver and Black Today airs tomorrow morning, Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. right here on CBS Sports Radio, 1140 a.m.
I will be out in Carson tomorrow morning for Silver and Black Today, covering the game.
I've been there several times for the X Games when they used to have the X Games there. So
How's that stadium?
I still see it as the X Games venue. And I also went to soccer out there before.
I'll get my first taste of this tiny stadium for an NFL game tomorrow. Should be interesting.
It'll be 3-1 Raider fans.
3-1, you're crazy.
At least.
It'll be 95% Raider fans out there. 95%.
Hey, guys, UNLV Hoops news. So the 5-star wingman, Josh Green, who we thought never had a shot of coming to UNLV.
And he didn't.
A top 10 recruit has committed to the University of Arizona. His brother, Jay, is a rebel. Do they cut him now? His brother.
Look at you. You're cutting right to the chase, huh?
Yeah.
He's useless now.
No, just
Come
kidding.
On,
Do they
playing.
need scholarship spots?
So Josh Green, attending IMG Academy currently, they lost a player that has ties to this program. And so I think, a lot of folks in the media.
Program's a bit of a stretch at this point.
So it raises questions. Does UNLV need a 5-star player? Some of the media cats were just really getting involved with fans, and it was kind of ugly this week. But, it's like, oh, no, the Rebels want 4-year players. No, folks, they went all in on the recruitment of Josh Green.
They need quality basketball players. I don't care 1 year, 2 years,
Right.
4. It doesn't matter. Right. They need quality basketball players.
And
haven't had me for a while.
I'm a short-term kind of guy. I want success now. I do. I want it.
Well, then you should stop following UNLV basketball.
Geez, come on.
Not that you're going to find.
Come on,
No,
Tony. Look at where this program's at right now. And I just made a joke about it, calling it a program. What can you say about this team anymore? This is not UNLV basketball that the city grew accustomed to. Even in down years, it didn't look like this. And this is bad.
The perfect player is not that you're going to find him everywhere, but Pat McCaw, man. That should be your typical running rebel, guy that flies under the radar.
What about Shakur Houston?
And isn't heavily recruited, right? And he would fit that mold.
He
right?
fits the mold.
But
The
I
problem
mean, he
with
was the number
Houston is
one
he's a
JC
cleanup
player
guy.
in the country, so it's not like he flew under the radar. But that's, you find somebody that isn't recruited that heavily, that your scouts do a great job of looking at and saying, hey, we can keep this kid for 2 to 3 years, right? Which is what Pat McCaw did, and develop him. And what's McCaw, 6'6", 6'4"? I mean, McCaw could play all over the floor.
He grew one summer. I had seen him, and he came back, and I asked Coach Rice when he was here, I said, the kid had to have grown about 2 or 3 inches. He goes, how did you know? It's like all of a sudden he sprouted up.
But
he's just long, right? And
Yeah.
I'll tell you what about this year's basketball team at UNLV. It will be more of a team concept, and they don't have to force the ball into the post or get touches inside for any particular player or promise a number of shots to any player. It's
That
going to
you
be
know of. That you know of.
Has an opportunity to be a better team.
Hey,
I don't know.
Hey, hot take. The year of Georgi Slovanchinin. Here it is.
Is he
Hot
finally
take.
going to
It's a
play?
My
mouthful,
hot
too.
take. You throw it on the board. Kidding. Don't throw
At
it on
least
the
you
board.
pronounce his name right.
I was going to have
The
to look
year
up
of
his
Georgie.
spelling. I was like, that's not happening.
So also tonight, don't
Too
forget,
many consonants in that one.
UFC 229 going down at T-Mobile Arena. This is going to be one of the best fight cards to come through Vegas in a long time because typically, this card is in full effect, right? Everyone made weight. Did anyone pass out overnight that can't fight today? Anything happen? No. They are
It's
ready to
still
go.
early.
Pretty
Conor
confident the main
McGregor
event doesn't last too long.
Against Khabib. Khabib, what's his last name, John?
Nurmagomedov.
Nurmagomedov.
Very good.
Is that like
It
Slovankinin?
is.
Slovanchinin.
Nurmagomedov. Yes, it is
Again,
him.
so
So,
many
so Conor McGregor, inactivity, hasn't been to the octagon in 2 years. He's a decisive underdog coming into the octagon tonight.
Should be.
Yeah, McGregor.
He's an octagoon.
McGregor. Matt says McGregor is the Floyd Mayweather of the UFC. We know that, but it's like you fight, you get arrested, and then you retire,
You're a
and then
sideshow.
you come back and fight.
You become a sideshow. Why does everybody watch Conor McGregor?
Well,
It has nothing to do with what
wasn't
he's done
a
in the
sideshow
ring.
when he was coming up through the UFC. I mean, he was really fun
Right,
to watch.
but he only has, 6 fights in the UFC? It's not like he's been around forever fighting in the UFC. He only has a handful of fights there.
On the main cards, let's see here, 1, 2,
For
3,
UFC,
4,
not
6.
MMA overall, but
yeah,
UFC.
I mean, he's fought in a couple fight nights. His first debut was in 2013 Max Holloway, he fought in 13 as well. So, yeah, he's got a little experience in the UFC. But, I mean, back then, he's fighting Chad Mendes and Jose Aldo. Those fighters like that, I mean, he really was dominant there, and he made a name. All credit to him. He made a name for himself. He went from nothing to what he is today, who's a millionaire dozens of times over for the way that he runs his mouth.
So, guys, the folks at Bet Online AG, Dan Carney, the big guy, the big cheese here, right, at Intercom, pass along some of these prop bets real quick. Bruce Buffer's tie for the main event. Bow tie, standard tie.
Oh, bow tie.
Bow tie. That's minus 150. Did you know that?
Yeah, bow tie.
Okay. McGregor, a post-fight octagon interview. Over, under 2.5 F-bombs. That goes flying over.
That's a good.
That depends on if he wins or loses.
Minus 120.
If he loses under, he'll be
if
a little more gracious, probably, like he was with Mayweather.
If you say FOOK, is that an F-bomb?
I don't know. Can you say that on air?
Will McGregor do
FOOK.
the billionaire strut?
You want to say it so bad?
I know.
Right
Will
now,
McGregor do the billionaire strut?
I can see
Will
you
he do the
forming
billionaire
the word.
strut? Will he do
That
it?
would be awesome if he did.
It's minus 250 in the favor. And then there's props on rounds, too. Does it go to distance? I say no.
No.
And like Khabib said, he said if McGregor doesn't knock him out or somebody's flattened after 2 rounds, McGregor's got no shot.
Agreed.
Yeah. That's it? Just agree?
Yeah. No, Connor's plus 145 on the fight.
And the odds have come down, right? And there'll be some late Irish money, right?
Late Irish money. Oh, so it'll go down, you're saying?
Yeah.
So
there has
get
to
in
be
on him
some.
now. Yeah. I guess that's true, right? People like to bet the dog at the window, try to make a little bit of money. So wait till the last minute if you've got Khabib winning this one.
For John Castanino, Matt Gutierrez, Haley Brooks is on assignment. Of course, Sonia Schlobaum, our engineer, with his technical assistants today, Scott Colbranson. We thank everyone for tuning in. Thanks to Gabe McCoy. Good luck, Rebels. They play today out at Sam Boyd. Get on out there. 1 o'clock, the kickoff time.
Never
against
see Rodgers
New
as a UNLV
Lexico.
quarterback again.
You've been listening to the Sports Adrenaline Show right here on CBS Sports Radio, 1140 a.m.